Obi revealed the secrets of Nigerian economy and the way forward. But this video you are about to watch now give you exact thing. So listen to this video and tell me what you think.
Let me even talk about the issue of the economy. Let me leave education. I've told you that we can fund it, we can make it better. Let's look at the economy. With emphasis, like I said, on issue of underemployment and unemployment. Everybody knows that all various studies, and I'm happy that our famous economists here, nobody can talk about those brilliant economists we have in this country today without calling Professor Sukuma Soludo and people like Bismarck. They are among the best we have. And I'm sure they know that when you talk about the economy, you must talk about the issue of underemployment and unemployment. It is the greatest contributor to building a strong economy. If people don't have job, you have terrorism, you have banditry, you have all sorts of characters. If they remove any of us here from having a job, we are different things. It's as simple as ABC. So you have to deal with that. And when you talk about the issue of employment of any nation today, whether it's China that we are celebrating, whether it's any other country within the BRICS nation or the MINT nation, like I said before, I still use China and Indonesia to show an example. All of them, everybody knows that there's a direct connection between issue of employment creation, growth per capita, and growth of overall economy with your support for micro, small, medium entrepreneurs. Professor Gupta has said that Nigeria DNA is entrepreneurship. And I believe that. But that DNA is not being supported. What has happened is that we've abandoned this greatest engine of creation of labor, unemployment, without any support. And if we want to solve that, it is not a sophisticated thing. If you go to China today, using the example of the two countries I said before, if you go to China today, 92% of the companies are MSMEs. 92%. They produce or contribute 60% of their GDP. China GDP is 13 trillion. 60% is 7.8 trillion, which is 20 times Nigerian GDP. That's what this sector is contributing. They contribute over 60% of the entire industrial output, and they contribute in terms of jobs. They're employing over 70% of Chinese people. 800 million people are employed in China. 70% is 560 million. That is what MSMEs are doing in China. And government is aggressively supporting this sector. If you go there, you will see that overall, I will show you the disparity when I finish telling you what is happening with them and what is happening here. China today is determined to create 10 million jobs annually from 2015 to 2020. In fact, in 2018, by the first 6 months, they've created 7.2 million, which is over 40% of their target. And that's what they're doing. China has unemployment rate of 3.7%. If you go to Indonesia, which is the fastest growing in the MINT nation, it is a similar situation. 97% of the companies in Indonesia are MSMEs. And they are creating over 90% of the jobs. Indonesia, they are producing 60%, over 60% of the GDP. The GDP of Indonesia is 1.2 trillion. 60% is 7.2 trillion. It's 720 billion, which actually is twice our GDP. They have a population, as you know, of 260 million. 145 million are employed. MSMEs are producing 90% of that, which is 125 million. So you could see easily what these people are doing in other nations. And this can be done. It's not a rocket science. What are they doing? The government have a ministry of small, medium enterprises, and are supporting them. People who ask you here, where are you going to get the money? How are you going to fund it, Peter? How are you going to support them? I was a businessman in United Kingdom. Not my country, not to have anything to do with it. I came out of school, started business. My county supported me by giving me grants. The government gave me grants. In America today, in China, everywhere, government is giving people grants, support, and everything. So people say, what do we need? I said, you need aggressively support this sector to unleash what they can do in Nigeria. How do you do it? People say, oh, there's no money. We have borrowed a total of 28 trillion naira, $90 billion. If we had devoted a quarter of that, 7 trillion, $23 billion to supporting that DNA Professor Gupta mentioned. Before I go into that, let me give you an example of what I experienced when the recent conference I attended, Tony Elumelu Foundation. The CEO of that foundation, Ms. Ifeanyi Ugochukwu, said that for every entrepreneur they supported with $5,000, he created 20 jobs after 1 year. Speakers after speaker came and supported that position. Now, if we had taken away 25% of this money, $23 billion, and decide to support our entrepreneurs with grants, we would have given it to 4,600,000 entrepreneurs, assuming only 75% of them, which is 3,450,000, had created just 50% of the job. Ms. Ifeanyi has said, instead of 20, they created 10. They would have created 34,500,000 jobs. If we had 34,500,000 people employed today, we wouldn't be talking about 98 people living under poverty. It is very simple. It's not a rocket science. We would have been able to deal with this and all that. What you hear today in Nigeria is that, oh, revenue to GDP is low. Where are you going to get it? Are you going to tax people who are unemployed or businesses that are collapsing? If you want more revenue, everybody knows how you can get more revenue. Reboot your economy. Support those who are living in extreme poverty to come over this side and you get revenue. It's simple. We have today taxable adults of 20 million when it should be more. If you want more, you just support them. Eligible workforce in Nigeria is 150 million. Those who are employed are just about 75 million. So you have 40 million people that are not doing anything. Support them. So stop talking about revenue to GDP. Let's talk about how do you now get these people on this side. If the more China put people out of poverty, the more revenue they received. To show you how bad it is and what the China is doing, if you go to our banks today, the total credit of all the banks, loans they've given out, is 15.5 trillion. Out of that, 4,000 companies or thereabout have taken 13.3, call it about 3.3 billion each. The entire SMEs, MSMEs, 35 million, the entire loan to them is 500 billion naira, which is about 3% of 15,000 each. So they cannot contribute what their counterparts in China is contributing. In China, out of overall 30 trillion debts, MSMEs control 25% of it, which is 7.5 trillion. The consequence is that if you look at their tax revenue, they do not just produce 60% of GDP or 70% of unemployment, they also contribute 50% of the tax revenue. China funds its budget from tax revenue. 80% of their budget is funded by tax revenue. 80% is about 3 trillion, and MSME provides 50% of it, which is 1.5 trillion. In Nigeria, the opposite is the case, because these people are just living from hand to mouth. This year alone, about 10 million, half of this year, 10 million accounts became not operational again in Nigeria. Because you know why? People only open account now to beg for money. So if it is shown that Nigerians withdraw money paid into the account faster than any other country in the world, because these people are just, once they beg you for money, you pay it in. By the time the money comes, it's already being withdrawn, because that is what it meant for, to go and eat. And that is the crisis we face. So people tell you, oh, we want tax to GDP or this. If you want that, the more you put people out of poverty, the more revenue you get. It's a very simple thing. It's like a bank account. You cannot continue to withdraw without paying anything in. No, you have to. And that comes to what Bismarck, Soludo, everybody is saying, that the government needs to come and decide that this is where we're going to go.
You think of Nigeria economy, what is going on in Nigeria economy presently, and think about what have been going on before now. You see, there's a lot of difference. The video was just giving example of other countries like China, like Tunisia, and comparing it with Nigeria. You saw Nigeria is totally backward. So you talk about this country, that the best way this country can go forward is to emulate other country, so that Nigeria economy can move forward. The exact thing I feel that Obi is talking about right now mean a lot. Because when you check the condition of Nigeria economy now, you know that a lot is going on. And I'm not happy. And if only we can put heads together, this election, free and fair, will go higher. So this video has a lot to teach us as a country. Though we will not compare ourselves to other developed countries, but at least Peter Obi has revealed the exact secret, and we should work towards it, so we can be able to make this country a good one. Make we don't withdraw back. Let's go fight this battle and try harder. So you have listened to this video now. What do you think that Peter Obi is trying to say? Is it right? Is it the way forward for this our country, Nigeria? Because to me, I think it's a better thing if other country can provide job for their citizens. So then what is going on? Why Nigerian government not providing job for the masses? A graduate will graduate out, come out without job. So I don't know what is going on. But I think this video you have watched will direct your IQ on what to do next. Election is coming. Let's know what to do and what to do best and what to do good. So that is the only thing I see. And I know this kind of condition may come. This country, we have to do something about it.